hormones and the temper tantrums and all that. It's biological, but we also have to pay attention to the climate. And sometimes you have to remind them. When the kids hit those teenage ages, I understand the testosterone. I understand the estrogen, but baby, you live here with me. Sit down and be quiet and relax, balance.
Oh, great. Before I move on to Ash Cash, is anybody else that wants to comment on, Jade, if you had anything to say about that part?
I moved out at 18. I did not apply to any colleges in DC. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to Philadelphia. I'm going to Temple University. And when it got closer to the time of of going to school, my parents was like, they were saying that they were happy that I was going to be gone. Okay, yeah, I'm so happy. And then they came to me one day, you sure you don't want to go to school in DC? I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to Philly. I go to Philly. I'm doing well in school, but every weekend I'm back home in DC. They're like, we can't get rid of you. So that resonated with me. But then also, Black folks are very traditional and conservative when it comes on to certain things. So I know in my generation, we were pressed to get out of our parents' house so we can go out and be grown and do grown things that you can't do in grandma's house or, your parents' house or whatever because, we're just not having that in, our culture. So I see a lot of folks in my age group, a millennial, that also are returning to living back at home because it's just not sustainable. Like, if you don't own anything, if you're going through the process of building, it makes more sense to be at home with your parents. So I'm starting to see that shift. I'm also seeing shifts with Gen Z. They are more willing to stay at home with their parents than my generation was. So I want to name that.
Yeah, that is true. I can't wait for the studies to come out about this new generation and then the one underneath them because I got kids in those categories. Oh, boy. Okay, so we're going on to you, Ash Cash. I know you talked a little bit about you talked a little bit about financial strategies, but what do you think we can do to really enhance family stability? Because we want to talk about how families can be stable.
Yeah. I think first and foremost, the conversation around money has to happen, right? So, echoing what everyone said, is that the conversation about money needs to happen. So I was raised Z, I guess. But I'm a millennial, right? So I'm an OG millennial. That's what I call myself, right? Cause we started the millennials, but because we were, or X, whatever came before us. When I grew up, I remember money wasn't something that we talked about. In fact, my mom used to have the Passport savings account. We went to the bank with her, but we was never able to go to the teller with her. Like, we had to stay back. And so there weren't really a lot of money conversations happening. And so there was assumptions made as far as, where we are from a financial perspective and, what we had and didn't have. I think it's really, really important that it has to start with the conversation around money and allowing your children to know the real as it relates to finances. And so, my wife and I, we have two children. We have a 16-year-old and we have a 9-year-old, and we have real conversations about entrepreneurship, right? So we have real conversations about entrepreneurship.